Today, we are diving into a fascinating shift in print media. Welcome to Radiant Genius Podcast. I'm Elsa Mehary, a creative strategist and feminine entrepreneur. Join me and the occasional guest where we will illuminate the path to brilliance in wellness, tech, and business trends. I will be guiding you through the journey of your inner genius to transform you into your most brilliant and badass self. Give yourself permission to live out loud at the brightest level. Welcome to Radiant Genius Podcast, where we talk about creativity, business, and making your mark in the digital age. I'm your host and creative strategist, Elsa Mehary. And today we are diving into a fascinating shift in print media, the decline of traditional magazines, and the rise of self-published, low-content books. Not all print is dead. Magazines once ruled the world of visual storytelling, curating trends, shaping culture. Now they're on life support, if not obsolete. Meanwhile, self-published workbooks, planners, and guided journals are thriving. So what happened, and what does that mean for creatives, entrepreneurs, and content consumers like yourself? And how can you possibly replace your day job by creating one and selling millions? Let's talk about it. A new year for me has always brought a sense of renewal. I do a vision board at the beginning of the year, sometimes after 6 months. And I do it at specific times. It's very intentional. It helps me plan out visually. I usually do Pinterest. And it's a very healing, rewarding, fun activity. So this year, I went to Chelsea Piers, my gym, for a vision board workshop. And there were maybe 2 magazines, and the rest were these vision board clip art books. I've never seen them. I was blown away. I went straight to Amazon, and it's a whole world. It's a whole world, and these books are called low content books. And there's literally hundreds of them, and people are making a living from these books. So where are the magazines? I would say they're just not cost effective. I would say we've had to say goodbye. And I haven't worked at a magazine in, I would say, like a very long time. And I really miss it. But once upon a time, working in magazines was the dream. I lived it. I was an art director in commercial publishing. I witnessed firsthand the excitement, the prestige, the creativity, and the gatekeeping, actually. Magazines were the cultural dictators setting trends, telling us what was new and next, deciding whose ideas were worthy. And that might be where possibility lies the problem. As we became more diverse, wanting different voices, there just wasn't enough space. And the business people stepped in, and the rest is history. And digital was able to provide and allow the diversity so many people wanted. I recently just got sucked into watching the 2015 series called Younger, which is now on Netflix. It was on regular TV. I missed it. I was out living my full happy life until 2020. But it's now on Netflix. And I have to say, I'm so sucked in. I love it. There's 7 seasons. I think I'm on season 6. I just started watching it last week. I know. It's wild. It's about a 40-year-old divorced mom who pretends she's 26 in order to get a job back in publishing. It has me in a chokehold. It's like I'm reliving my youth, industry parties, fun outfits, drama, office dating. It's the white version of what I lived. It's just so exciting. I even saw some former bosses on the show. Shout out Eva Chen and Jess Cagle from EW. And it was when I saw the Time Inc. sign, I was like, oh, this is an old show. I had to look it up. I was like, oh, 2015, I totally missed it. But those offices don't even exist anymore. And I have to say, low content books have taken over that slot. Did you ever think about starting your own magazine? Just because, frankly, you felt you had more interesting things to say, your crew was more exciting, etc., and you wanted to share with the world. But you quickly realized the logistics were just a no. So now platforms like Amazon with KDP, there are other platforms. I think Lulu is one that you can self-publish. Made it so much easier than ever for anyone to publish their own long content book. And why is this a big deal? I feel now people want to create something because we are just in that realm. You want to express. But with these platforms, you don't need a big team. You don't need advertising budgets. And there are no gatekeepers. Publish exactly what you want. You can share, you can sell one, change it, modify, revise, republish. If you have an idea, you need a designer, you can hire a designer somewhere. Me, I'm a designer. And you have a direct to consumer product that people want because you've tested it, you've researched. These are interactive, structured, sometimes they're workbooks, and they're designed for engagement. Think planners, guided journals, manifestation workbooks. I saw on TikTok, there was a woman that sold like 1 million copies of this shadow workbook, or shadow self diving in therapy like. And granted, nothing's going to happen without marketing, but I'm not covering that in this episode. But just so you know, you have to create it and then you have to market it. That's everything. And also, like, why is this such a thing? Because people still, when something drops out of the market, okay, we don't have this anymore, but it filled a psychological need, then people will look to something else to replace. Now, it's not an equal match, right? You're not getting maybe heavily researched articles that are bringing you up to date from the latest experts, fitness, travel. Nothing's curated. You don't have a team. It's one person's take. So you have to maybe call from many different sources, but it's very niche. And it's a practical tool that help people improve their lives. And I think that's what magazines do as well. To read a couple of articles and you get intel about improving, whether it's like the latest lipstick that's going to make you happier, etc. And so once magazines died, this void, I feel, was just waiting for something new. And it's completely taken over now. I recently had a doctor's appointment in a big hospital, and there's a little gift shop that has everything, merch from the hospital and candy, snacks, pretty big gift shop. And there was this great magazine rack that I could look through history and also assess which ones go in front, which ones are no longer visible, and the mags that I worked for, just to see if they're still on the shelves. A lot of them are digital only, so it's just an assessment. Completely gone. They are now replaced with coloring books, adult coloring books, crossword puzzle books, all kinds of other stuff that I'm not really into and could get my dopamine fix of fashion and whatever else, travel and architecture and food and all the stuff that I love. And I was sad, but I was like, it's really over. So why are low content books thriving while mags struggled to survive? And I think it's really, we break it down, just this, when I think about architecture and the beauty of the elaborate architecture that once was. And I feel like we need a term for this because everything is being subject to the same thing, the simplification of all things. And this is another symptom. So these low content books are easy to create and publish. So magazines required massive teams, print runs, really literal perfection. If there was an era, I remember we would have an hour meeting about, we would look through everything. If there was an error, it was a really big deal. Even if no one noticed it, we would be chastised. Now, a single person can create a low content book, self-publish it, minimal investment with personal resources, your intel, some research, and maybe you hire again a designer and someone to do your marketing online, wherever it's published for you. Because that's actually like a very important piece of the puzzle. And these low content books, they're highly niche and personal. So magazines had to appeal to broad audiences. Low content books, they can be ultra specific. You want a manifestation journal for single moms, for Black entrepreneurs, completely within your realm. A productivity planner for creatives, like every niche pretty much can be filled and people will buy it. They're looking for that thing that speaks directly to them. There's a longer lifespan. That's the thing, that 1 month turnaround and then it's gone forever is like all that time and effort. And for $3 to $5, some of these magazines cost, and then it was just gone. You had 30 days to get it, and that was it. Couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know who thought of that business model, but wasn't sustainable. That Netflix pivot did not happen. And there were a couple brands I think that did it well. They did the quarterly, and I don't know who still has that particular model, but having 4 issues a year with curated content, I think that worked for a while. I don't think anyone's doing that with really nice glossy paper. So it was a collector's item. You charged for it. The effort was comparable to the product, wasn't just thrown away at the end. And the direct monetization, I would say magazines relied on ads. The low content books, they make money through direct sales. So you have full control over your revenue, bottom line. The customization and brand building. So the magazines, mass media market publications, unlike the self-published books, allow you to have your unique voice, your unique aesthetics, and your unique branding. So if you think of it as an extension of the brand that you already have, and it's a way for your clients to interact specifically, or to have, it's almost like a little bit of take home. If you have a workbook, if you have a vision board book that goes along with your brand, if you do coaching, for example. And really, people still love beautifully designed, curated content. It's something that fills a psychological need. So instead of flipping through a magazine, they're filling out a journal, they're planning their week, they're reflecting. It's a little bit like adult coloring books in that sense. And this is why people do crossword puzzles. It's a moment of low productivity and it makes you feel good. Feel like I've completed a puzzle. I've completed this one coloring book. I filled out this worksheet. And I think it's built into the Western psyche of, I need to be doing something, but it doesn't need to be high key. I need to be doing something low key that still fills a need for me, for the people that have a lot to do, or for the people that have nothing to do. And so for those of us who build our careers in traditional publishing, I still cry sometimes. But this shift is bittersweet. In a way, there's the opportunity for all of us to go on and create our own content. And there's still, magazines really were an art form. They were curated, aspirational, and beautifully crafted. The teams were amazing. We got to work with incredible teams of talented folks and present something. And that's completely gone. And I'll always love mags. I'll definitely miss them. And I still read my share of them on Kindle for free. And I get good advice, research, updates on fitness, health, travel, beauty, architecture, etc. And shout out to the people that are still creating them for as long as it's possible. But the reality is we're in a new era and the demand for print hasn't disappeared. It's just evolved. People want structure, guidance, and tools that fit into their busy lives. And creatives, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders now have the power to provide that without waiting or permission from an editor, and that could be you. So whether you consume low content books or you're thinking about creating them, there is a full market for you. I, for one, am leaning in. I'm in the process of creating my own vision board book. Shout out to me. I'll advertise when it happens and market it. It's going to be a curated niche product for the organized girlies who want their manifestation game on point. There's going to be some astrology, affirmations, all kinds of great thing. Obviously, the visuals are going to be just amazing. And the best part, there's no salary cap, no limits, just creative freedom and direct impact. And I can make 5 versions for the entrepreneur, for the mom, for the tech founder. It's like it goes on. So if you've been thinking about publishing your own journal, planner, workbook, this is your sign. The opportunity is here. The demand is growing and barriers are gone. The glossy pages of magazines might be over, but the desire for well-designed, inspiring, and useful content is strong. Self-publishing is no longer just for novelists. It's for anyone with an idea and an audience. So get your audience together if you don't have one, whether it is a productivity planner, a wellness workbook, or a niche guide for your community. You have the power to create, publish, and profit from your own vision. This episode resonated with you. I would love to hear your thoughts. Are you still a magazine lover, or are you fully on board with the low content revolution? Send me a DM, share your favorite self-published book, or better yet, start creating your own. Don't forget to subscribe to Radiant Genius for more insights on creative strategy, digital business, living with ease and impact. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Radiant Genius podcast. Until next time, keep shining, keep creating. Remember, you don't need permission to be brilliant. Thanks for listening, sending soothing calm to your nervous system. Hit subscribe and join me on this feminine-led entrepreneurial journey. The Radiant Genius podcast, where we discuss all things brilliant.